If you're seeing AutoCAD error code 72011, you're dealing with a modeling operation error that usually shows up during a fillet or chamfer. In simple terms, AutoCAD's geometry engine, Autodesk ShapeManager, is trying to calculate a rounded or beveled edge, but it cannot solve the shape cleanly. That usually means the edge, corner, or face you're working on has a geometry problem, and in this video, I'll show you exactly how to fix it step by step. Before we jump in, make sure to like this video and subscribe for more AutoCAD troubleshooting tutorials. It really helps the channel, and it also means you won't miss future fixes for common AutoCAD errors. Now first, let's understand why error 72011 happens. In many cases, the radius you're trying to apply is simply too large for the available space. If the fillet has to wrap around a corner that is too tight, the math behind the operation can fail. Another common cause is self-intersection, which means the new curved surface would fold into itself. AutoCAD cannot create a physically valid solid from that shape, so it throws the error. The third major cause is dirty geometry. This happens when your model contains tiny leftover edges, redundant vertices, or sliver faces, often after Boolean operations or complex edits. These small imperfections can stop fillet and chamfer from working properly. Let's start with the fastest fix: reduce the radius. If you're trying a fillet radius of 5, don't assume that value will work on a tight corner. Try something much smaller, like 0.5, and see if the operation succeeds. If the smaller radius works, that tells you the original value was too large for the geometry. Once you know that, you can either keep the smaller radius or redesign the corner so there's more room for the fillet to form. If reducing the radius doesn't solve the issue, the next step is to clean the body. In AutoCAD, type SOLIDEDIT and press Enter. Then choose Body and then select the Clean option. This command helps strip out redundant edges and vertices that may be interfering with the operation. After cleaning the body, try the fillet or chamfer again. In many cases, this alone is enough to clear up the error. Next, you should check whether the solid itself is valid. Again, use SOLIDEDIT, choose Body, and then choose Check. AutoCAD will inspect the object and tell you whether the solid has issues. If the solid is invalid, filleting will usually keep failing no matter what radius you use. That means the base object needs repair before you can continue. If the solid is valid, then you know the problem is more likely related to the specific edge or the way the operation is being applied. Another useful fix is changing the order of operations. If your model has multiple edges that need to be filleted, don't assume the same sequence will always work. Try filleting the vertical edges first, then the horizontal ones. If that fails, reverse the order and test the opposite sequence. In complex geometry, the order you round corners can make a big difference because each fillet changes the shape of the model and affects the next calculation. If you're still stuck, try scaling the model up by 10 times. This is a very helpful trick, especially when you're working with small parts. Sometimes internal rounding errors and tolerance issues make very tiny geometry difficult for AutoCAD to process. By scaling the entire model up, applying the fillet, and then scaling it back down, you can often get around those precision problems. Just make sure you scale uniformly so the model stays accurate. You should also inspect the area for near-coincident edges. If there's a tiny edge very close to the one you want to fillet, it can confuse the geometry engine. Use SOLIDEDIT to move or remove the unnecessary edge first, if possible. Even a tiny sliver can cause the operation to fail, so zoom in closely and look for anything suspicious around the corner. At this point, if the fillet still fails, the best approach is to simplify the geometry as much as possible. Remove unnecessary features, repair the solid, and try again with a smaller radius. Often, the problem is not the command itself, but the complexity of the body you're trying to modify. So to recap, AutoCAD error code 72011 usually means the fillet or chamfer cannot be calculated because the geometry is invalid, too tight, or too messy. Start by reducing the radius, then clean the body, check the solid's validity, try a different order of operations, scale the model up if needed, and remove near-coincident edges. One of these fixes usually resolves the issue. If this tutorial helped you fix AutoCAD error code 72011, please hit like and subscribe for more easy AutoCAD solutions. And if you're still having trouble, leave a comment with what kind of model you're working on, and I'll do my best to help. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next tutorial.